Hello guys and welcome to Barking Mad Tech. No, it's Barking Mad Tabletop now, so let's talk about that, I suppose. So if you are one of the 4 to 5 people who regularly watched my content back in the day, most of whom are my close friends, you know that this used to be a extremely low effort and extremely low budget tech channel. And as you can see, that is no longer the case necessarily. It is now apparently dedicated to tabletop RPG content, which is another passion of mine aside from technology. So what happened to the tech stuff? In all honesty, it just became, for one, it just became too expensive. That was honestly the main reason. Like, the market was in shambles, new parts, used parts, all of it was getting far too expensive for me to actually keep up with it and make any meaningful, fun content, if I'm being perfectly honest. As well as just as a result of that, I lost interest, honestly. I lost that deep passion I've had, and I still have yet to regain that. I still like tech, I'm still interested in computer parts and stuff like that, but I have gradually lost interest and sort of exculpated myself from that space, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it's simply too expensive for me to do any meaningful or fun content that I would like to do in that space. And that has just sort of resulted in my lack of interest and passion in that space. So I'm redirecting that towards another subject I'm very passionate about, which is tabletop role-playing games. So that is what this channel is going to be about going forward. I am, you might say, pivoting.
Pivot! 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 Pivot!
To this new form of content. So what am I going to be covering then, if I'm going to be covering TTRPGs? Well, I'm going to be covering, first of all, I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to be covering. As you can tell, this video is entirely unscripted. I will not be covering Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and the answer to that, and the reason for that, is because, for one, there are tons of channels out there covering Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, who do a lot better of a job at it than I would, I think. And also, I just don't like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I played it for a while now. I have severe issues with how the system works, especially how it's being supported by Wizards of the Coast and the direction they're taking the system in with D&D, with 1D&D, or as I call it, and a lot of other people call it, 6th edition, which is what it actually is. The way they're handling that transition is problematic. I don't like the noise they're making about monetization and the direction they seem to be heading there. I won't go into too much detail. If you want more details, sort of elucidating why people like me, or people who share my opinion, are moving away from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you can check out the Rules Lawyer's channel on YouTube. It's excellent stuff. I am a big fan. He covers a bit about transition. He's mostly a Pathfinder 2e creator, but he does cover 5th edition, or at least this transition to 6th edition. Quite a bit as well, especially in regards from the consumer rights and consumer perspective on things. I found his videos to be extremely helpful. So there's that. What I'm planning on covering on this channel going forward is stuff that I am deeply interested in, game systems that I'm deeply interested in and do enjoy. So, for one, I will be playing a lot of Pathfinder 2nd edition going forward. So I'll be talking a bit about that, maybe talking about new books that I've received, new adventures I'm planning on running, my experience in adapting adventures and items and classes and whatever else from the default Pathfinder setting of Golarion to my homebrew setting, which I call Wakemare. I will also be talking about, because right now we're in the middle of transitioning from 5e with our campaign that we've been playing, into Pathfinder 2nd edition, where we're going to be at 7th level when we start. So that's also a whole process that I will probably be doing videos about. Beyond that, I am also planning on covering games like The Witcher tabletop role-playing game from Art Halsorian Games, which I've been sort of getting into progressively over these past few weeks, and I've been reading the books and the content they have, and I'm really interested in trying that out because I am a huge Witcher fan, both the video games and the novels. I've read all of them, the short story collections, the Seasons of the Storms little extra book that he released later, that Mr. Sapkowski released later. I've even watched that abominable Netflix show. Unfortunately. But I am a huge Witcher fan, so I definitely want to play a lot of that. I'm going to be running a one-shot for New Year's Eve with a few of my friends, so I'm going to be reporting back on that, and even before that I'm planning on doing like a first impressions video about the system. I'm also planning on covering Cyberpunk, also by Art House Orion Games, which is another fascinating setting and looks like a really cool system. I'm planning on covering, of course, Dragonbane by Free League, which is a new edition of the Swedish equivalent to Dungeons and Dragons, Drakar och Demoner, which I am super interested in covering because I backed them on Kickstarter, and I'm super interested to see where that system pans out. I'm also planning on covering stuff like Starfinder. Okay, I want to get into Starfinder for sure. I want to try the Star Trek Adventures game by Mephidius, because I am also a massive Star Trek fan. And I want to try the Dragon Age RPG. I'm also a massive Dragon Age fan. There's all these systems that I am planning on covering successively here, as I get back into the swing of things and making content. So that is my plan. Whether I will stick to that, I suppose, remains to be seen. But that is my plan for this channel going forward. So, I guess that's pretty much it, in all honesty. It's a sort of unedited, unscripted ramble about the future plans I have for this channel. Anyway, I hope those few of you who do watch stay tuned and enjoy this new content, this new direction that I am planning on going in. And yeah, I also do apologize for the experience of watching that shit little intro I put together. It's it's quite a thing, isn't it? Anyway, I've been Nick. This has been Bulking Mad Tabletop, an extremely low effort and extremely low budget tabletop RPG channel. See you next time.